Mantour Ministries presents the Mantour Guy podcast. We may talk about football. We could mention bacon. We might reference Rocky movies. We'll probably discuss the Mantour conferences, but we'll definitely talk about how to grow in our walk with God. Here's your host, the Mantour Guy, Jamie Holden.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mantour Guy podcast. Jamie Holden here, and I am so happy to have you back with us once again today. Well guys, we are so excited because today we are broadcasting for the first time in our finally completed new office space. This office space has turned out amazing. We're so excited to be moved in and podcasting from this new area. So thank you so much for your patience the past few weeks as we've been doing our best stuff episodes. We're excited to move forward with the podcast into the fall. And guys, this week we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I know we've been doing things differently the past few weeks, but bear with me just a little bit longer. First of all, we're releasing this podcast on a Thursday, which we hardly ever do. It's usually on a Monday. But we're doing it for two reasons, guys. First is because, if Labor Day haven't been this past weekend, I didn't want to bring out a new podcast on Monday. But I also didn't want to take a break for the whole week and just take the whole week off. Because I realized, the NFL season starts tonight, guys. First game's on Thursday night tonight. And I don't want to miss making our Week 1 Write It in Ink lead pipe locked picks. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an NFL kickoff episode this week. We're going to kick off both the NFL season as well as a time when many churches are going to be restarting their men's ministry after breaking for the summer. Now, I know fall doesn't officially start for another week or two, guys, but for men, it always seems like fall starts as soon as football starts. So the first half of this podcast, we're going to discuss ways that you can incorporate football into your men's groups. And then after the break, we're going to look at our weekly picks for both Week 1 and Week 2 of the NFL season. I'm going to give you my Super Bowl picks for this season. And then on September 16th, we're going to come back on track. It'll be after the New York Mantour. Monday, September 16th, we're going to be back on track with a new podcast, and we're going to get back on schedule at that point. So, guys, with that bit of business taken care of, let's get to it here. So, how can we incorporate the enthusiasm of the NFL season to help strengthen our men's groups? Well, guys, that's such a great question. And, one great way to do it is not to make your men feel guilty about liking football. As men in church, we have to learn not to guilt our men or bully our men into coming to men's ministries, but instead we need to use the distraction that the NFL brings to us to entice the men to come to the men's group during football season. And there are many ways to do it, but here are a few ideas that I have for you. And the first way to get men to use their love of the NFL and enthusiasm for football and college football and high school football, to use that to get them excited about your men's group is do a football-themed Bible plan together. And I really like this idea. Did you know that the YouVersion Bible app has 10 different football-themed Bible reading plans? I honestly didn't know that until I looked it up last night. I've used a few of these plans, and I really have enjoyed them. For all those Eagle fans out there, Carson Wentz has a Bible plan on YouVersion. One plan that I've used and I really enjoyed doing it was a 2-week plan called Professional Football Players on Humility and Surrender. This plan had videos from different NFL players sharing about why they feel the need to surrender to God and stay humble. They also have plans that are themed for fantasy football as well. They have all these different plans. They'd be a great way for you to incorporate them. Your group could commit to working through some of these plans each day and then discussing them together. It's a great way to turn that NFL and football enthusiasm into a positive thing for your men. The second way is to have a tailgate party. Guys, you can stream football games on the internet now, and, it makes it possible to watch a football game outdoors. You could hold a tailgating party in your church's parking lot or some other neutral site before the game, and then you could all watch the game together via projector. You can inflate one of those movie screens. You could do it on the side of a building, hang a sheet, find something to project onto, and watch the game together. And then during halftime, you could deliver a short devotional, pray together, and then watch the second half together. It's just such a great way to get your men connected and plugged in and involved. You could set up a grill, you could fire it up and grill away as you all cheer for your favorite team. And you don't want to do this every week, obviously, but it's a great way to get men interested in joining the group. And all men's ministries should start week 1 after a break with some sort of outreach type night like this, and it's a great way to do it. Number 3. A great way to use this football enthusiasm is to use a service project together, to serve outside the church and serve the community together as a group of men. Guys, I'm a huge believer that we as men's ministry leaders need to be making opportunities available for our guys to go outside the church walls and serve our communities. And recently I was speaking with a men's leader, and he told me a really great outreach that his men did. They contacted a local high school booster club, and they told the booster club that their men's group would like to volunteer to work the food concession stands during the high school football team's senior night. And usually these concession stands are run by the parents. It ends up being the parents doing it. And by them volunteering to run this stand, it allowed the parents to have the night off and enjoy their children being honored during their senior night. And he told me how stunned and just how blown away the booster club was by this opportunity, this offer. They were so impressed that this group of men wanted to do this for the parents. And it was such a great witness to the booster club and to the community. Guys, what a great way to reach the community around you. I would highly recommend that any men's group give this outreach a try as you endeavor to serve your communities this fall. And then number 4 idea, we've talked about this before, but I just want to bring it up one more time. Guys, have a Super Bowl party. I know the Super Bowl isn't until February, but you need to think about it ahead of time and plan ahead of time. You don't want to wait till the last minute. That's how bad events happen, when you throw something together at the end. Guys, you can plan a Super Bowl party at your church. You can open up the entire church, not just the men. You can have food, you can watch the game, have a blast together, laugh at the commercials, cheer for the team you're rooting for. And then at halftime, instead of showing the very long halftime show they show, have someone share a very short devotional and end with an invitation for the men that are intending to be part of the weekly men's group. Again, guys, this is a great event that you can invite an unsaved man to attend, or to get a guy who's been to your church but not really plugged in to help him connect and get involved. Guys, I share these ideas with you because I understand that a lot of men love football, but a lot of men really hate when churches make them feel guilty for loving football. When you do that, it's not going to turn them onto your group. It's going to turn them away. So instead, I think you need to use that football enthusiasm, infuse it with your men's ministry to find ways to get these men excited about football and men's ministry. There's no reason to have to choose between the two. You can use it to reach men, connect new men into your group, and invite unsaved friends. Don't let football frenzy be a hindrance to your group. Find a way to make it an opportunity to get guys more motivated and involved to take part in what your group is trying to do. Well, guys, we're going to be right back. After these messages, I'm going to bring you our writing picks for weeks 1 and week 2 and my Super Bowl 54 prediction, and that's going to be right after this break.
I know you're going to dig this.
Like what you're hearing? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks.
Attention all men in the New York area. You don't want to miss our 2nd annual New York Man Tour. This year, our New York Man Tour is going to be on September 14th at Central Assembly of God in Horseheads, New York. Join us as the New York District Superintendent, Dr. Dwayne Durst, brings a powerful main session message with us before we break up into 3 powerful workshop sessions. And then we're going to close with a great final session together. It's going to be a challenging, great time for the men of all ages in the New York area, and you don't want to miss it. So plan now to join us in Horseheads, New York on September 14th at Central Assembly of God for the New York Man Tour.
For Mantour conference dates and locations, visit mantourministries.com. Don't forget to visit iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks.
With the advent of the internet, pornography became affordable, anonymous, and accessible. And with this affordability, anonymity, and accessibility, porn in the minds of many gained a greater acceptability. What we once called hardcore porn, we now call softcore porn. What we once considered softcore, we just now call Game of Thrones. Today, one can easily say that porn has become the norm, and that is even among churchgoers. A recent survey discovered that 64% of Christian men admit that they view pornography at least monthly. That percentage goes up to 77% when considering just millennials, those who are 18 to 30 years old. Among millennials, 36% say they view porn daily. The same survey looked at women, and 13% of Christian women said they had never looked at porn. 33% said that they view porn at least a few times a year, and 15% said they view it at least once a month. To get 250 more pornography statistics, complete with original references and sources, go to covenanteyes.com/pornstats and download the complete report for free.
Sign up for Covenant Eyes using the code Mantour at checkout and receive 1 month of free service. Visit covenanteyes.com today to sign up, and remember, 1 month of free service when you use the code Mantour. That's MANTOUR.
Listen to the Mantour Guy podcast on the go via Apple Podcast and Google Play. Thanks.
No matter where you came from, what you've done, or what you struggle with, God can use you. He can restore you. He can put you in the starting lineup and use you to change the world. Let's stop believing the enemy's lies. In Mantour Ministries' book, Get in the Game, you will review the game tapes of biblical examples to learn what plays they made, where they fumbled, and how we can gain the victory. Order your copy today at mantourministries.com. It's time to get off the bench and get in the game.
Order your copy today at mantourministries.com. Yep, you're listening to the Mantour Guy podcast.
Hey guys, it's Tom Rees, and I want to invite you to the men's conference coming up here in October. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We open up on Friday night. Can you imagine 1,500 guys all coming together? Josh Schaefer and his band are leading us in some great music and some worship. And then we're going to move into the Word, and we have Alan Griffith coming back. Those that were there last year remember Alan. He knocked it out of the park, and he's going to talk about how do we be men of strength and live an undefeated life. And in addition to that, we're going to have on Saturday morning, we open up on Saturday morning with Greg Ford. Greg's a church planter out in Ohio, planted a church, and here's the amazing thing with Greg. Greg actually trained and went into a ring with a professional boxer. And Greg basically says, look, I'm doing this because you guys are fighting for stuff in your life. So whatever you're fighting for, Greg's going to stand with you. He's going to encourage you to be men of strength. And then with that, how are you going to get your strength? Well, we believe the Holy Spirit empowers men. And so guys, we got Tim Enlow, who's going to challenge us to be men walking in the Spirit. And we're going to close out the day with Aaron Holt. Aaron would lead the generation. And again, that mantle that we have to leave a legacy as men, it's going to be powerful. Bring your sons, bring your dads, bring your neighbors, bring the guys you work with. It's going to be off the hook. Take care, guys. See you at Men's Conference.
To learn more about the Strength Conference, visit strengthconference.men. That's strengthconference.men. And also make sure to follow the Pendel Men's Ministry on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Mantour Guy podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Mantour Guy podcast. Jamie Holden here once again, and I'm glad you've rejoined us here for the second half of this podcast. And as I said earlier, football season starts once again tonight. That's right, guys, we have football every week until February. And I am really looking forward to another great year of football. I really enjoy football. I love watching it. I love fantasy football. I love taunting guys on Facebook back and forth and the smack talking. I just love everything about football. And I want to share with you this week who I think is going to go to the Super Bowl and who I think is going to win Super Bowl 54. But before we do that, it's time for NFL Lead Pipe Write It in Ink picks.
The Mantour Lead Pipe Write It in Ink NFL pick.
All right, guys, here we go. This is for Week 1, my NFL Lead Pipe Write It in Ink picks. I have in tonight's game, Thursday night, I think the Packers are going to beat the Bears. I know the Bears are supposed to have the best defense, but they lost their defensive-minded coach. Their two best corners went with the coach and are now on my Broncos. Packers are just... Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Everybody seems to be healthy. They made some defensive improvements. I really think they're going to get it done tonight and that they are going to beat the Bears. Next, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the Patriots on Sunday night. No other reason just than the fact that I think the Steelers are due. Patriots never start the season out that great. They always take the first couple weeks to tune up, see what they have, and then I just think Steelers are going to come away with that game. Then Monday night, we have the first week, a Monday night doubleheader. The first game's going to be a really good game, and I'm calling an upset here. I'm saying the Houston Texans are going to pull an upset, and they're going to beat the New Orleans Saints. And then my second game there is the Broncos versus the Raiders. Really, guys, you have to ask. I'm picking the Broncos to win this game. I'm not worried about AB and all the upgrades the Raiders made in their offense because our defense is back. It's big, it's bad, it's what it used to be. And I think, as much as I don't like Flacco, I think they can do enough to get it done with that defense. So those are my picks. I'm picking the Packers over the Bears, the Steelers over the Patriots, the Texans over the Saints, and my Broncos to beat the Raiders. Oh, and then one more. I forgot. How could I forget? The Write It in Ink lead pipe. You can write this pick in ink here. The Cleveland Browns, I'm into them. I believe the hype. I don't think they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl, but I believe that they are real and they will beat the Tennessee Titans. You can write that in ink. All right, week 2. I see the Saints bouncing back and they are going to get revenge over the Rams. They are going to beat the Rams in that game. My Broncos have their coach rematch against the Bears. I'm picking the Broncos to beat the Bears in that game. Next up, the Eagles against the Falcons on Sunday night. That's going to be a really good game. Both high-powered offenses, I believe, are going to be this year. But I think the Eagles' defense is better than the Falcons, so I'm going to pick the Eagles to beat the Falcons. And then my Write It in Ink lead pipe pick for the second week is the Ravens are going to beat the Cardinals. I really like the Cardinals. I like their new quarterback, but I think the Ravens' defense is just going to be too much for him. And I'm going to go with the Ravens beating the Cardinals. You can write that in ink. All right, guys. Now it's time for my yearly. Every year I do this to pick a Super Bowl, who I think is going to happen. And this year I want to look at some possible winners. Now, I'm confident, of course. I hate it, but the Patriots, they're going to win the AFC East again. They're going to win easily. They win every year. Until Tom Brady retires, they're going to win. I sadly predict that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West over my Broncos. I think the Chiefs are just going to be too much for anybody in that division. And in my surprise, I picked the Broncos are going to snap their streak of missing the playoffs, and they're going to get a wild card. It's going to largely be based on that nasty defense they're going to have this year. I believe the Browns are legit this year, but I don't think they're going to win the AFC North. I do think they're going to grab a wild card spot. They're going to make the playoffs. I just don't see them winning it. I'm going to go with the Ravens once again winning the division this year. Their defense is just so good. They're going to just run the ball. I think they're going to beat everybody in that division. They're going to keep the Steelers from getting a playoff spot. And then I think the Texans are just going to run away with the AFC South. Andrew Luck retiring. Jaguars, who knows what they're going to be like. The Titans are just awful. I think the Texans run away with the South. I think in the end of the AFC, when all the dust settles, I really think that the Chiefs are going to be left standing. I think this is their year. They're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, if possible, the Chiefs' offense looks like it's going to be even more explosive this year than they were last year. They had some great additions on offense. They have speedy players. They have 3 receivers that run a 4.3 40-yard dash. That is just unbelievable. Mahomes is only going to get better the older he gets. They added a few pieces on defense. I think that this is the year they beat the Patriots and they go to the Super Bowl. So, who are the Chiefs going to play? Well, I think the Eagles win the NFC East. I went back and forth between them and Dallas, but I just couldn't bring myself to pick Dallas just because of my dislike of them. Plus, I just think the Eagles are a more complete team and they have a better quarterback. I think the Rams walk away with the NFC West. As much as I hate to say this because I absolutely despise this team, but the Seattle Seahawks are going to get a wild card. I think the Saints win the NFC South and the Falcons win the other wild card. Man, the NFC North, I've gone back and forth. It's so hard to predict. Literally, you can honestly make a case for the Bears, the Packers, or the Vikings to win that division. But I think I'm going to go with the Vikings eking out the NFC North over the Packers, and I think the Bears finish in third in what I think is going to be the toughest division in the NFL. I think the championship game is going to end up being the Saints versus the Eagles, and I am so torn who I think goes to the Super Bowl. Part of me really wants to see the Eagles and the Chiefs Super Bowl with, the whole Andy Reid thing going against the Eagles. I also think they're just a better, more complete team on both sides of the ball. And if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, they could get there and play the Chiefs. But that is such a huge question mark because he hasn't been healthy the past few years. And they don't have Nick Foles to fall back on anymore and have him bail them out. I think the Saints' offense is going to be amazing, and I think their defense is going to be really good again, too. I would love to see them make the Super Bowl after being robbed last year in the pass interference call, and I think it'd be great to see Drew Brees win another Super Bowl. I really like the Saints a lot, but for that reason, I'm going to pick to win the NFC is the Philadelphia Eagles. Got you there. I just can't give up on that whole Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. I think the story's too good to not want to see happen. But who wins that game? Well, I'm going to say something that's not going to make a lot of my friends happy here, but I think that Andy Reid gets his revenge in the Eagles, and the Chiefs beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 54 in a shootout. So that's my Super Bowl prediction for Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs play the Eagles, and the Chiefs win it by 10 points in a high-scoring game. So there you have it, guys.
The Mantour Guy's final thought.
Well, guys, as we close this week, I want to quickly remind you of two great men's events coming up this fall. First, New York Men. There is still time to register for next week's New York Man Tour. It's on September 14th. It's going to be at Central Assembly of God in Horseheads, New York. There's still time to register for that. We have a great lineup of speakers. It's going to be an amazing day with the men in New York. You can register at mantourministries.com. Make sure you make it to this event. And also, guys, you do not want to miss the Strength Men's Conference on October 18th and 19th at Christian Life Assembly of God in Camp Hill, PA. You don't want to miss this amazing 2-day conference. It's going to be so good. Make sure it's on your calendar. Load up a van full of guys to bring with you. Don't come alone. Bring guys along with you. We're going to be talking more about this event in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to put it out there, get it on your radar, get it on your calendars. You don't want to miss it. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for this weekend's podcast. If you haven't already, head over to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or Google Play and subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating or review so we can reach even more men with the podcast. Just a reminder, guys, we're going to be back with you on Monday, September 16th, and then we're going to get back on our regular schedule all the way up through Thanksgiving then. Until then, you can learn more about our conference dates, locations, our books and resources, and more at mantourministries.com. Guys, thanks again for giving your time to join us this week, and we'll see you next time for another new episode of the Mantour Guy Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Mantour Guy Podcast. Be sure to visit mantourministries.com to learn more about our books, men's ministry resources, and our Mantour conferences.
Hey guys, the Mantour Guy, Jamie Holden here. I'd love to come share at your church, at your men's ministry, at your next men's event, or men's breakfast. I have a challenging word for God's men to help them become the men that God has called them to be. If you'd like to have me come share with your group, visit mantourministries.com to contact me about coming to challenge and encourage your church's men to grow in their walk with God. One more thing before I wrap up this week, guys. You need to head to covenanteyes.com and sign up today to protect you and your loved ones from the many traps awaiting you on the internet. I am a Covenant Eyes user. I just signed my 69-year-old father up and put Covenant Eyes on his phone and his laptop. I believe in it. It's an amazing tool. It helps you stay pure online. Guys, I encourage you to try it today. If you use the code MANTOR, you get 30 free days. That's 30 free days. What do you have to lose? So head to covenanteyes.com, try it today. Like I said, what do you have to lose, guys?
The Mantour Guy Podcast, helping men grow in their walk with God.